and we have an exciting episode for you of VCTV here. We are joined by some outstanding guests from around the world, a panel I've been looking forward to all week. And this week, we've been talking about it. We've had double episodes every single week here on VCTV because there's so much happening. As we've talked about, quarter three, Q3, third quarter, whatever you want to call it, is a very big moment in every year when it comes to fundraising. For entrepreneurs, it's your last sprint towards the end of the year. It's when there's a ton of activity and a ton of opportunity to get investment. For investors, you know this just as well. There are tons of things happening, tons of things changing. We've got retail coming up. We've got all the sprint happening to the end of the year, which is a great opportunity for you to start finding those new opportunities or those last minute opportunities as you look to deploy your capital. So why do we do this here and why do we talk about it on VCTV? Because you need to know what's happening in industry, technology, and regions around the world. And every single day this week, we've talked about all those. We've talked about marketplaces and food, to space, deep technologies, manufacturing and supply chains, to us as consumers and how we're buying things online versus retail. We've talked about fintech, blockchain, machine learning, the data behind all of this, how that's empowering the industry 4.0. And here today, we're going to talk about advertising, media, and the intersection, which is entertainment. What's happening in these industries? How have they been rechanged? How have they been digitized here in 2020 and looking towards the decade ahead? Tons to talk about, as you know and as I know. But before we get kicked off, a big thank you to you, our entire audience, for tuning in. Those who are listening, if you're an investor and you'd like to be on a show like today to share your thoughts and insights, do reach out to LATOKEN, to Elena or myself, and we would love to find the right opportunity for you. Entrepreneurs, I continue to say this and I'll say it again. This is not just a stage for us as investors. This is also a stage for you as founders. It's a chance for you to get up on stage, the virtual stage nonetheless, and pitch us what you're building. You've got the full attention of us investors. Get up here on stage, pitch us along with our live audience on what you're building. It's a great opportunity. Reach out to us and we'd be happy to find the right show for you. And a big thank you to Elena and to the entire LATOKEN team for making VCTV possible every single day on your device, on your screen, anywhere you may be watching around the world. With that, let's get into this panel. Let's have some fun. And just so you know, on the pre-show, we were having a hoot and a holler. We were having a ball. We were having a great time. So we're going to continue that today. And without further ado, I'm going to welcome our very first panelist. I don't think he's been in this spot before, but on the EdTV view, he's got it. Elfish, welcome back to the show, my friend. You get the first kickoff today. Little intro background.
Thanks, man. Hey, I'm Alpesh Doshi. I'm a technologist and entrepreneur. Been working in tech and also done work in advertising and marketing too. I love tech. I love emerging tech. In this marketing advertising world, there's so much change going on. So I'm excited to participate on this session to hear what everybody thinks and obviously give you my opinion as well.
Yes, we are excited for that. And Radhika, welcome back to the show as well. This is I will just tease this up before your intro. This is a world that you live, breathe, and eat and have so much experience in. I cannot wait for the audience to hear. But with that, I'll let you give your own introduction background.
Hello, hi, I'm Radhika. I lead the business development and subscription growth at Times Internet Limited. So Times Internet Limited is the digital arm of one of the largest media companies in India called Times of India, which has its presence across print, TV, OOH, OTT, or any music apps, even ride-hailing apps, food, dining out. I mean, it's a large media conglomerate in India. I am a small part of that business. I lead the business development and subscription for the news business. I've been in the media space for last 7 years and have also worked for an equal amount of time with telecom and before that with IT. So I've kind of juggled all the roles from business development to product management and even a little bit of coding. Yes, and I'm very excited to be a part of this panel to talk about the latest that is happening. A lot of action has happened in India due to TikTok and a lot of things that have, besides US, there is a lot happened in India due to recent actions. I'd be very excited to talk and share some of my insights here.
All right, we're going to get into it. Alessandra, welcome back. It's been a whole 24 hours since I've seen you. It's a pleasure to see you again. A little intro, a little background.
My pleasure. Thank you, Kyle, and thank you, everyone. It's so a little background about me. I'm Alessandro Marian Antoni. I'm from the accent you may recognize. I'm from Italy. I've been for the last 20 years here in Los Angeles. I have strong connections with the topics today we're going to talk about. I've done about 10 years of research at UCLA, specifically in a research center based with my background on technology inside the School of Theater, Film, and Television here at UCLA. And I used to run a digital marketing agency when I was in Italy. And I have a company here. So I also, primarily, I'm founder director of M Accelerator, an accelerator program here in Los Angeles. And with Noble Dracon, also guest of this show, I'm creating a fund, a $40 million fund.
Wonderful. We are going to talk a little bit about where that fund is focused on as well here in a bit. But next, Anne, welcome to the show. It is the Friday edition. First time we've been seeing you here, but nonetheless, welcome, and a little intro, a little background.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me. So I'm Anne Shustak-Talbot. I'm here in New York, but right now I'm in my Brooklyn apartment where I've been for the past several months. I am the VP of Content at BX3. What is BX3? BX3, we are a startup, and we connect our like-minded startups with sources of fundraising, as well as business advisory services to prolong said fundraising. So I'm on the content and marketing side. I got here after about a 15-year career in financial journalism. I used to be the online editor at Institutional Investor, and since then I've done content marketing, social media marketing, speech writing, so run the gamut, and I'm thrilled to be here.
Wonderful. All right. Well, welcome, Eduardo, my man. Long time no see as well. A little intro, a little background.
Hi, Kyle. Hi, Elena. Hi to all the panelists and the audience, actually. Well, actually, you got me right now, literally by the beach. So I got to say that, Kylie, by the way, I'm looking forward to see that ponytail that you mentioned, by the way. I'm really, really excited to see it. But yeah, actually, I mean, people know me is basically my background is, I'm pretty much running the operations of a large US family office that invests in a number of sectors, particularly deep tech, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, also media, entertainment. And of course, yeah, I gotta say it, I'm a pure fan of esports, gaming, looking forward to see, the new trends in this exciting industry. And I'm also a mentor and a professor in a number of MBAs, also with startups, because I really, really like this industry. So yeah, very, very happy to be here again, and of course to join this amazing and superb group of panelists.
Absolutely, and pleasure to have you as well. And esports is definitely going to come up today, so we're going to be talking a lot about that. Lubna, it's a pleasure. I know, and I hope we're going to get into a little bit of cybernetics, but if we don't, we'll save that for another episode. But welcome back. A little intro, a little background.
Thank you. I'm Lubna Dajani. I'm a technologist, a geek, a social entrepreneur. And what gives me the right to be here, other than I am so fortunate, is that I have a background in I used to run collaborative systems and emerging technologies at Viacom International Inc. And I have worked extensively in my early days, having moved into mobility, on establishing all of the industry collaborations that need to happen, even defining common shortcodes, all the interoperability, the things that led to having mobile marketing to exist. And I was one of the early people in that space. That just shows how old I am, but we won't talk about that. I'm delighted to be here. Really, thank you.
I mean, we're delighted to have you. We'll say that. Mr. Gary Fowler, the man who powers the technology that drives the entire advertising industry, also known as the new electricity or artificial intelligence. Gary, I'm not letting you chime in until now. Your introduction.
My God.
Go ahead, sir.
You're unbelievable. I don't even know what to say. So anyhow, I'm actually right now in the Appalachian Mountains. I flew last night up to Pennsylvania to my house. I'm in the Appalachian Mountains right now. So even though I have the background of the house in Florida, I'm here in Pennsylvania. So it's great to be here. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I now have 37 years worth of experience, I'm told, in startups. I've done 15. The largest exit, I was on the original management team at Click Software. I've been an MBA professor also at the top business school in Russia. I actually started the first accelerator in Russia, Startup Academy, and the largest private corporate accelerator is when I started also, GVA Launch Gurus. So I love it. I'm into AI. I've written my 67th article on AI, and I just wrote one last night about the democratization of opportunity. Nikola Tesla's dream comes true for Forbes. So my last article, Deep Learning versus Machine Learning, Forbes just approved it 20 minutes ago. So I finished the next one. And so I am the CEO, president, and co-founder of GSD, Get Shit Done Venture Studios. And we help incredible AI companies from around the world to go global using Silicon Valley as a port. And I also have my show. I've got Guy Kawasaki, and thanks to you, Kyle, Christopher, the astronaut, is interested in coming on the show. So it's like everything's taken off, and I really appreciate it. So great to see everybody today. Alpesh, Anne, Alessandro, Eduardo, Lubna. Feels like a family. I really like it. So it's great to be here to talk about really cool shit.
And we're glad to have you back. And to those that are listening, this is very important as we do talk about these things and we have this fun and listening to these introductions. Notice what's being said and how these connections are being made. So those that are tuning in, this is a great opportunity and a great time to build awesome connections, even over the EdTV view of Zoom. Nonetheless, definitely something to stay tuned to. With that being said, everyone, welcome so much. We're a pleasure to have each and every one of you. Radhika, I'm going to go a little out of order today. I want to start with you. I want to come to you for the foundation of where everything is. So the first question today for the panel is, what is the current state of these three industries, right? Of advertising, media, and entertainment. You spend a lot of time in this area on all sides of it. Would love to hear your take of the current state of things as we see it.
I'm talking as far as India is concerned. So we had when the lockdown began towards the March end, we had a very bad April. But since then, things have started improving. On some mediums of media, for example, print was not doing well. Cinema halls are not doing well. But at the same time, digital properties like online websites, as well as OTT players, gaming websites, educational websites, etc., are doing exceptionally well because people are logged in. And then the segment that has been exceptionally in news is the OTT and the short video segment, which is dominated by TikTok globally. And in last 3-4 months, because of our border situation with China as well, a lot has changed due to ban of apps in India. But that has given rise to a lot of opportunities. So overnight, some 30-40 TikTok-like apps became a sensation. And out of that, some 7 or 8, I would not say 7, 5, 6 apps like Chingari, Mitro, all Indian homegrown apps gained some 25-30 million users within a couple of days. These were new apps. I mean, nobody had heard of them till the ban. And not just these apps, but the large players like Times Internet also owns one music app, the largest music app in India called Ghana, and a large OTT player in India called MX Player. Even they started their own short video apps because largely the music we already had a user base, and the music license that is needed for these apps to work was already in place. So you just needed to build up quick product building is not so difficult. And then there are large players like ShareChat, etc., which are big, also came up with their own products. So a lot of action happened there, and not just the users, a lot of funding. So the new ones started getting anywhere up to 1 million to 5 million USD funding within, I think, within a month of this happening. While the large player like ShareChat is looking to raise some 150 to 200 million USD from Google, and Microsoft is in talks. So not just that, and then there's another app you guys might have, is a US based app called Triller. It also launched in India, and again gained in India. Users are not such a difficult thing to gain, but then it again overnight gained some 25-30 million users. They did a large partnership with another very large music app in India called JioSaavn, and which is owned by the largest business conglomerate in India called Reliance. So this also became, and they did a partnership. So it's again a very big hot segment in India, these short video apps. A lot of action is happening, action funding, etc. is happening. And along with this, so while this was growing, while TikTok has done exceptionally well for a market like India, where so YouTubers and Instagrammers were celebs and famous people who could make good quality videos, TikTok gave courage to a lot of tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 people, kind of cities and towns, where people would be ashamed to make a video, but TikTok had a lot of filters. So it gave courage for these two people to upload a lot of videos, and now they have the taste of how to do things. So overnight, when Instagram rolled out its Reels product, a lot of people after TikTok was banned moved to it. And if you go to Instagram Reels, you'll suddenly see, I mean, these people know, some of these people are very big stars. I mean, I am not from a TikTok generation, but they were apparently very powerful. They go to weddings on a helicopter and all. I had never even heard about these people. So they know how to do this very well. And overnight, they have some 50K, 60K followers on Instagram as well. So they know how to do it. And to do that, there is a parallel industry of celebrity management companies, right? Who do these kind of influencer management. So large celebrity management companies who manage big stars do not work with these. So there are many influencer managing companies which have a rate. So if you have their slab-based pricing for these large influencer, mid-size influencer, micro influencer, mini influencer, nano influencer, depending upon the number of followers as well as their region. So somebody who has a national level following, who speaks in English and Hindi, would have more followers, would have a higher rate per tweet, or so not tweet, but per video upload, etc. versus a regional follower who speaks in, regional influencer who speaks in a local language. Mm-hmm. And they have been engaging in last 2 years since TikTok became popular. They have been engaging users to do a lot of brand campaigns, a lot of product launches. So now, before TikTok was not there, these people were not, these organizations didn't exist. A lot of these very small, micro influencer management organizations. So TikTok gave them a platform, and a lot of these celebrity management companies also have raised funding of 5 million, 10 million, small fundings post TikTok's entry, and now a lot of action is in this space. So even these apps, these companies have sort of become popular. So that has happened quickly.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, this was an explosion overnight. So those who haven't been covering this story, I mean, Radhika just put it in summary. This is something that happened in a matter of days, where this industry just exploded throughout India, but then also globally as well. And Elfish, I want to come to you next in terms of what are you seeing as the current state of these three industries: advertising, media, and entertainment as well?
I mean, it's sort of not really. It's slightly a different perspective that I see. One of the key areas is seeing that brands are doing from an advertising perspective, brands are taking a lot more responsibility around how they advertise and taking a lot of their own advertising in-house rather than letting agencies do the work. So shifting a lot of the brand, the media buying and planning, but also building relationships from the agency side to the brand side. Part of that is also merging in their own first-party data. So rather than letting an agency manage that data, they're doing it themselves. So lots of DMPs, data management platforms that we're seeing being built and being used by brands internally, taking more control over their budgets on how they advertise, where they advertise, rather than letting the agency manage that stuff. From an entertainment perspective, I mean, I have some experience around sports entertainment. So one of the challenges has been advertising is just stopped. You know, big advertisers have stopped advertising digitally. Sports and obviously all sports, real-time sports streaming has stopped because there isn't a sports streaming, no sports happening. So I think the reboot of that after COVID is going to be interesting on how does sports streaming happen? How does advertising happen given the nature of how the fact that most of these companies do sports streaming and the base their revenue on advertising has disappeared. So I think that's also an interesting dynamic that I'm seeing. As you know, Kyle, I always talk about data and AI and take that angle. And so one of the key areas is actually the reality of around advertising and marketing, actually paying a lot more attention to using data, bringing that data together to understand their customer better. On the B2B side, so normally people talk about the consumer side. One of the interesting dynamics I've seen in the last 6 months is that a lot of technology companies, a lot of companies who do their marketing offline. So what they do is they go to marketing events. So they have, go to physical events like Mobile World Congress. They put their stand there and they get their leads, B2B leads, by literally collecting business cards. These guys are all having to shift online because they can't do physical events anymore. So frankly, none of them know how to do it. They don't know how to collect data. They don't know how to build a B2B digital marketing proposition. Their sales and marketing is completely changed because before salespeople go out, meet guys, that's gone. How they're going to build, so how they market and build the funnel and then build a relationship, she shifted offline to just building physical one-to-one relationships to online, where you're having to build content and thought leadership and build a relationship before something goes into the buying funnel. So that hopefully that gives you a bit of a landscape of what we're seeing in terms of the work that we're doing.
Absolutely. I mean, even on the sports side, I think I saw some report that I believe it was Budweiser, pardon me, that their advertising dollars they spent thus far in the sports season because of what's happened, I think was less than $100,000 for multiple months, where usually that's one event for them. So you're definitely calling out some of the major trends that are happening. And because you touched on data, I'm gonna jump down to Lumna and then Gary. I want to come to both of you on your view as well around this. What you're seeing as the current state of things. Lumna, we're going to start with you, and then Gary will come to you second. Excuse me. Lumna, to you.
Well, I think in terms of retail, as we know, is gone to a halt. The traditional retail, the brick and mortar, which is a little bit sad, I think, because the move to the online has been consumed by the larger, the Amazons of the world. But in any case, I think advertising has been long due to be marketing and actually retail and advertising have both been, I think, past due for a disruption, where I think they're, especially with the move towards sustainability and the truth in advertising and the role of advertising. So, and I find, so that's, there is a significant, I think, disruption that will be happening. And as they start looking at the impact of what they do, and as we know, in talking about AI and data, there is a lot of use of AI and empathic technologies in terms of understanding the user or the consumer, and to be able to understand their psychology, their behavior, so that we can influence their buying habits, and even have them believe that they need something when they never even didn't want something when they don't even need it, or need something and they didn't even want it. So there's a lot of work around that that's happening now in terms of ethical AI standards, and we're going to need to see a bit more of that, and hopefully we will be using the data more to actually cater to the people in what they need and want, and rather than just encouraging more consumerism. So I think the advertising industry and retail, be it fashion particularly, are in for a major disruption Yeah, I mean, I have lots of ideas on that, but I'm going to hand it to Gary.
Sure.
Gary, to you.
Yeah, sure. So I was just on a panel yesterday at Burning Man, and we were talking
Oh,
about
jealous.
artificial intelligence. So I was on the AI panel at Burning Man yesterday. And I truly think this is the greatest opportunity we've ever had. And Nikola Tesla, when he talked about the democratization of electricity around the world, I mean, we're going through that today, literally. It's painful. It sucks. But listen, we've got in India, what, 1.3, 1.4 billion people. We've got 2.2 billion people in the continent of Africa. This has leveled the playing field. Quarter of the population of the world is locked down right now. If you look at internet use, it's up about 70%. This is an opportunity of a lifetime. Expand your horizons. You're right. Look at the behavioral analysis. I know with Eva, my company, my AI company, look at how your users interact. Figure out, I don't know if you're like me, but I love getting offered things because they're really cool a lot of times. I didn't know I needed a Super Bowl till I saw one from eBay. Since I was a kid. I haven't seen one since I was a kid. I loved it. I bought one actually. So, I mean, it really made me feel good. So I think what's happening, it goes back to efficiency and effectiveness. The AI is helping us make decisions better. It's helping us because we are inundated, as I've said many times, infobesity. We are inundated with information. We don't have time to think. How many of you here, even your email? As soon as we get off this call, you're going to check your email. How many times a day do you check it? 50? It's crazy, right? We need to have smart assistants. We need to be able to envelop this entertainment experience, things like immersive technologies, which we talked about many times, Kyle, to be able to bring that, and it's happening as we speak. This is just an incredible time for it.
Absolutely.
It sucks for some of the retailers, but guess what? I can tell you a direct story. So there are two Chinese restaurants near my house in Palm Beach. One closed down at COVID, said they don't want to deal with it. The other one stayed open. Their business went through the roof because they now think differently. He's doing takeout orders and catered to that audience, right? And he told me he doubled the business that he had done last year plus. So it's an opportunity of a lifetime. And we've got another year to year and a half to go through this. We've been through it 6 months. The pandemic, people have now started to adjust to it too, which is the beauty of it. They understand it's here. How do I work through it rather than to be afraid of it? Let's work on it together. Let's take advantage of these opportunities.
Absolutely. And Anne, I want to come to you next on this. I mean, we've now talked about the underpinning, the data side of this and kind of that infrastructural change, but now looking towards the content, but in general, what have you seen as the current state and where are things today in these three worlds?
Absolutely. So in terms of, I'll speak to the B2B side because that's where I am in the weeds day to day. This is a really good time to pull back the camera and really engage in some brand building. So as Alpesh said earlier, we're all about thought leadership, content. What is the story behind the story? People are at home quite, I mean, I want to say held hostage, but we kind of are. We're in our apartments and we're just held captive by the internet, whether that's looking at videos, whether that's watching streaming content, looking at our social media, 50, 75 times a day. That's where people are right now. So if you have really engaging content that speaks to what you are as a brand, what your story is, what you have to tell, what you have to offer, that's going to resonate. We're not talking about advertising to, we're advertising with. What are you telling? What do you have to offer? What is there in the landscape? Which brings me to my next point, which is something that we've found over the past few months is that people really crave authenticity. So back in the early days of the pandemic in March, there was that sing-along with a bunch of celebrities. Here we are in our apartment. That flopped terribly. And why was that? I think a lot of people just saw through that it was sort of a dog and pony show staged for social media. In this day and age, people really want a message that's clear and it's BS free. We've seen this also with internet influencers, people on Instagram like, hi, here I am. I rented out my I took a plane to rent this Airbnb to post my cooking videos. I have this, I left my Jersey City apartment to go cook here. That really irked a lot of people. At the same time, just a simple thing about, well, we're in this together without being cloying. This is what we're doing. This is our lifestyle. That is the kind of message that will get clicks and get you more brand, like resonate with your greater audience. On this note, I think we're going to see kind of a decline, at least temporarily, of celebrity and influencer culture. I know, if you're in the PR space trying to support celebrities, I feel for you, but it's hard to get that story across. People just can't, be paparazzi in front of a full cycle. You got to have something better to say. Also, this is on an aside note, given in the restaurant industry and how people are cooking more, I really think we're going to finally, and this just makes me really happy, see a decline of food made for Instagram. Yeah. So no more shakes with 5 scoops of whipped cream on top. No more stupid Bloody Marys with a lobster tail stuck in it. Let's get back to basics. Let's get back to something that's that is what the food is about, and not about making other people do your advertising for you.
I was laughing so hard because that's exactly what my Friday night is all about. I'm trying to get a 5-scooped milkshake going with a lobster on top. I mean, I got to keep my Insta game strong. But
they sound great, Kyle.
There you go. I think you're calling it out right, though, man. I mean, we're seeing that change, right, from how content is being created outside versus inside the home, right? That authenticity, I think you're calling up great is as well. And then Eduardo, I want to come to you next on this. I mean, you've played several different sides of this, also coming from the esports angle. Furthermore, what are you seeing as the current state of these industries?
Well, actually, I fully agree with, particularly with Alpesh, with something that he mentioned, that actually right now, I will say that budgets in marketing literally have been cut down, I will say like around 90%. I mean, our particular case right now, we are launching a new fully electric top performance motorbike. Okay, so it's going to be launched on a worldwide basis. We're going to compete against Harley Davidson and top players within the industry. It will be focused just on upper segments. So in this particular industry, and in this particular digital world we're living, actually, we are trying to put our money to work into the most efficient way, actually. And this means not only, for example, I don't know, hiring Instagrammers or going to TikTok or Instagram and say, okay, guys, you got millions of followers. We're gonna pay you. We're gonna give you a bike. Actually, some of those guys ask you for a bike. So I mean, insane. Because we want to know exactly among those followers which are the ones that really are gonna have an impact on the investment that we are making. I mean, we have been a tremendous increase in the number of particular services and applications that try to understand in a proper way among the followers of a given Instagrammer, which ones are the ones that matter, because this is exactly where you're gonna put your money into work. Also, we have seen a tremendous increase in, this digitalization. Actually, I think this is something that Gary have mentioned multiple times, and the audience know his opinion on this particular, aspect, that what basically digitalization was supposed to happen in the next 5 to 10 years, but it already happened in 5-6 months, I will say. And this is going to be the trend for the industry for the upcoming months, not only on entertainment, media, on even esports. I mean, for example, in Spain, we have seen a couple of esports clubs that have raised a huge amount of money. We're talking about millions euros, actually, by using crowdfunding platforms. And blockchain, ICOs are going to be also hot topics in the following months. Actually, we are in the middle of an ICO and an STO too. Of course, this COVID had a negative impact. I mean, but in our opinion, this has just delayed some aspects of the industries that will have to adapt to the new situation. And in some other cases, such as, for example, e-learning platforms and other services that offer, for example, also, gaming, the gaming industry and particularly subscription programs have been booming lately because mostly of the people have been staying at home. And also, retailers such as Amazon today, actually, or a couple of days ago, actually, the new Forbes list has been released, and take a look at the wealth of Jeff Bezos. I mean, the value of Amazon is there. I mean, basically, the e-commerce has been booming recently because people don't want to go not only for this COVID theme, but also for the new trends and the living standards that we are currently experiencing. I mean, people want to spend time with guys, with with friends, with girlfriends, I don't know, doing interesting activities rather than go shopping. This is it, actually. You just gotta search something you like on the internet, just buy it and get it at home, and that's simple. And this is why we believe that kind of investment opportunities will be the most important and the most significant ones actually for the upcoming months in our particular and always humble opinion.
And that's, it's funny you mentioned Amazon. So Amazon and also just some of the other things you mentioned in there too. Yeah, Amazon just announced and launched Halo, their new wearable device, this new tracker that there's a lot of discussion from those who have been in the both media and entertainment industry to AI to also wearables of like, oh, this is fascinating. This is a no screen device that's always on, always listening, very similar to some other devices. What can you now do with this? So to your point of being able to shop at home and just always, know, now you've got a device on your hand, which, I mean, it's not the first, let's be honest, but it's a big deal from such a retailer, which we'll put Amazon in that category for a moment.
Exactly. And if you go to Seattle, actually, I mean, Amazon has a couple of stores that even doesn't have any employee on them. I mean, it's just basically robots. You go there with your smartphone, you get the products, you pay, and you have no human interaction. And this has been there for months. Seattle.
Which is also fascinating because it feels like you're robbing the place every time you get something, even though you're checking in. It's like, whoop, I'm out. But exactly. All jokes aside, Alessandro, I want to come to you. I apologize. So much good stuff. So I'm going to come to you, and then everyone, I want to come to you for the next big question here in just a moment. But Alessandro, to you, a current state of things.
Yeah, definitely. In every of these, let's say, crises, there's always a lot of opportunities for small businesses, for startups, right? That are the ones that I'm working with. So early stage, where doing a pivot, it's easier, where essentially these founders have already like a pandemic-proof mindset if they are there to survive, right? So for me, it's always, this is the second, let's say, crisis that I go through in my professional life. So it's always, I found very strong opportunities the first time, and I see also opportunities this second time, not only for us, but also for the companies we work with. Couple of points we touched. Definitely, we have to be really like have to have out of your comfort zone in terms of reinventing, pivoting, and be ready, right, to adjust your business model. Perhaps we have seen definitely over the last. This is not only a trend that is happening now, but over the last 10 years, I would say, a consolidation of some of the positions, some of the skill set within small companies like CMOs gathering more like skill set related to data analytics. They understand a little bit about, perhaps they had experiences in coding a little bit. So they are acquiring more power inside a small team of a company, right? And this is interesting because I see there is a multidisciplinary role playing much more than before. Of course, over the last months, this has been accelerated. The digital transformation definitely pushed this kind of a consolidation that are happening in the teams. And to me, I mean, when there's a cross-disciplinary, multidisciplinary, there's always a great opportunity for innovation. I keep talking about innovation and early stage startups because at the end, that's what I breathe and live every day. It's what we invest in. It's the accelerator program goal. And a couple of examples just to sum it up. We started working at the beginning of the year with a company that is optimizing the process of creating merchandising for small game developers companies, and starting really from a couple of MVPs, they were able to, over the last 3 months. So now they were able to acquire $3 million in contracts, right? And that's really a great news for them, but also shows that this is we are getting ready for what is happening later. And I'm really excited. I'm really curious to see and analyze the situation because the next year, the next 2 years, we're going to get a lot of results of what is happening now. And this is, I think, everybody touched on those topics before.
Absolutely. It's a perfect tee up to the next question, and that's where is the opportunity, right? So if you're looking at investing or you're looking at building, where is the opportunity to start building and playing in these spaces? So Elfish, I'm going to start with you around this. Where is the opportunity if you're looking to get into media and advertising and or entertainment, whether that's for the sports angle or another angle that you see? Where should people be paying attention to right now?
Well, again, it's all, frankly, it's where your experience and focus is, right? I mean, there's so much opportunity. Everything for me starts with data and how data is going to transform the whole advertising value chain. So if you want to start a new data-driven agency focused on brands, focused on technology, I think there's a huge new market coming. It's borne out by Martin Sorrell and his new venture called S4 Capital. He's driving it through data analytics. So one of the opportunities would be create a company which is data-driven in a particular sector and sell it to Martin Sorrell's new venture, because that's a short-term exit, couple of years, definitely. I talk to lots of companies on the B2B space, and it's obvious to me that there's a big gap around marketing for B2B. Big gap, because marketing for B2B hasn't shifted fast into consumer type marketing using data and analytics and that kind of stuff. It's still in its early, it's still in the old way. Also around applying growth. So if you don't know what growth is, look at Brian Balfour. If you don't know Brian Balfour, look at him. Look about growth loops and growth strategies on how to do marketing. That's the new way of doing marketing, and not enough people know about that. And if you build a company based upon that, there's lots of opportunity there. The way you engage, so where you build content and the way you engage customers, I think that in and of itself, in sports or in any other field, I think is a big gap. That the shift to online and that digital transformation around how you build and engage audiences is shifted significantly from offline stuff to some completely online, and building platforms that allow that to happen through the whole process. I think the platforms are still clunky. So you name all of these event platforms that are out there that weren't designed for scaled digital engagement. They're seen as a sort of secondary thing on doing, for example, video streaming, for example. I think there's a platform opportunity to build a bunch of applications that do that a lot better. I know lots of them. I hopped in and there's loads, but they're all clunky. They're all very clunky and very old school. So I think there's definitely an end-to-end event management platform driven by data, obviously. That I think there's a flavor of some of the opportunities that I think that are out there.
Those are great points. And some of those, the poor platforms that got overloaded and surged, right, with this crazy hyper acceleration of digitization and us jumping to those. So there's definitely room for those to scale out by all means. Radhika, to you, areas of opportunity you see in these areas. Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry. So while largely we are aware of the segments like esports or edtech or cloud, etc., the big areas of investment and opportunity, but I think within each of the divisions, whether it's media or it's entertainment, there are micro segments. Like, for example, I know for sure that within the business of media where I belong to, which is news media, the investment heavily has to go on analytics, knowing your user better than any else, because in India we don't have a problem of users. We have we have huge inventory. We are not able to fill that inventory. We have low ECPM because of surplus inventory. So we need to understand our user better. Like New York Times, for the first time, their subscription revenue crossed their print revenue for the first time, and the only NY Times has been able to do it. So publishers in India are struggling with surplus inventory and nothing, no ads. So I think that is one area of investment and opportunity for all media investment, not just in news media, but even other OTT players other than Netflix and Amazon Prime, who are able to drive subscription revenue. But all local Indian players need to figure about knowing their user very well and catching him wherever they can, basically. Which goes to analytics. You need to know your user well. Whatever
there you go. There you go. 2 for 2 around analytics. Gary Fowler, where do you see the opportunities in these areas right now?
I mean, in terms of the opportunities, so we just talked about it, right? Immersion. So we need to have richer experiences. It's going to happen sooner than later. I mean, I hear about it literally, I don't want to say every day, it's like every hour, right? So we've got to enrich those experiences because it's here to stay. We need to be entertained. We need a feeling of belongingness. We need to have deeper experiences. And so what we have right now is this revolution, as Eduardo said, had taken, instead of 10 years, it's taken a couple of months to get jump started. Now the situation is, what we have to do is figure out, what did we have before when we had those experiences in a movie theater that made us happy? How do we develop those kind of experiences online to be able to increase participation, increase stickiness? So, and it's happening right now. I mean, look at it. Television's going up. I mean, it's crazy right now, right? Television was dying, mobile's down. It's crazy. Look at the shows coming out of Netflix. It's the richest environment that I've ever seen. Netflix and AOL Prime that I've ever seen. It's incredible. The quality of shows are going up. So, you know, we need to be entertained. And I think the other thing from the entertainment side, we're going back to basics a lot too. If you look at the shows coming out now, there's a lot of hope, right? It's not like it was before. We've gone back 30 years in terms of what people are thinking about, because this pandemic has changed the way we think about life, right? We've brought our families closer together. As we said before, more bikes are sold. I mean, it's record. You can't buy a bike. It's hard to get a bike unless you get it on Craigslist. And then the price is more than what they want. So we're back to basics again. And so the opportunity is immersion. We understand that entertainment is here to stay. It's going to happen for the next year to 2 years. We're going to be entrenched. And guess what? I predict this is going to be a trend going forward. It's not going to stop, because this transformation is like a freight train, like a tsunami, and it's spreading very, very quickly. As it democratizes the opportunity in Africa and India, it's going to change everything, because people are coming up fast. We're just here, Kyle, when we have these panels, it's incredible the reach that I'm getting from places like Nigeria, all throughout Africa, Egypt. I mean, it's insane, because now it's changed. So what it means is that entertainment, how do we be able to make that multicultural entertainment? How do we be able to appeal to more of a mass audience? Well, we haven't done before, right? The entertainment in the States had been primarily for English-speaking markets. Now look at it. You see more Chinese, more Indian-oriented films out there, more cross-cultural films. It's incredible how it's changing. So those were the opportunities. Think about how we can appeal to more of a mass audience, and not the 350 million people in the US and Europe, right? And the additional folks in Europe. Think about how we can be a lot broader.
It's the re-globalization, if you will, in many respects. Exactly. Eduardo, to you, quick areas of opportunity that you're seeing as people should be paying attention to.
Well, basically, I think that the ones that I mentioned before is all about, e-learning, e-gaming, also platforms with a huge customer base. I will say that right now, actually, mostly of the people that plays through their mobile phones, and they're based in Asia. So that's the main focus that should be, targeting the investments for the upcoming months. Of course, I mean, new subscription options and new games, very similar to Second Life, that kind of things in which you can also make money, are kind of attractive, I will say. And of course, also platforms related to e-commerce and distribution, in our particular opinion. Amongst different, verticals and sectors, I will say that virtual reality is gonna be a hot topic in the future, and also artificial intelligence, because of the new trends and less human interaction on a physical basis. Because actually there's a lot of human interaction, but through digital media, actually right now, actually I would say. And again, I mean, as Gary mentioned, also, Netflix and other platforms are booming in terms of new contents. I haven't seen actually that huge amount of new films and series on a pretty much weekly basis. I mean, right now I have started actually a couple of new series in Amazon. By the way, I recommend the third season of Ozark. Looking forward to the new one. Actually, if you loved Breaking Bad and similar series, definitely recommend it. But yeah, I mean, and those will be the main focus in our particular opinion. Actually, more digital, subscription based, e-sport also, but mobile content will be key also in the upcoming months, in our opinion.
And to add on to that, I mean, you mentioned gaming. We didn't have time to touch on it today, as we're coming up to the lightning round here shortly. But even gaming, being able to advertise and drive additional short form, to Radhika's points, short form, short video content within games, and game experiences as well. And to you, what are you seeing as areas of opportunity quickly here in these three areas?
Certainly. So the past several months have shown us that whatever rules were in place before are made to be broken. So we've seen this over the past few years, people moving off of what the tried and true of network TV onto streaming platforms. The past few months have just shown that, to echo other people's points, this has just been accelerated by years. We're seeing, I mean, in our own household, we watch shows that are made in Brazil. We watch shows that are made in Turkey. We watch shows, I mean, we've practiced our foreign language skills, and we've gotten a range of viewpoints. So I think this shows that, like, they're almost legacy streaming providers now, Netflix, Hulu, and such. They have so much more leeway to accept content that breaks the mold. We don't have to rely on another reboot of 30-something or Roseanne. We have we can explore new storylines, stories of hope, stories that will connect us to the greater global sphere.
Absolutely. And Alessandro, quick to you as well, areas of opportunity.
Yeah, I'm really happy to be in this panel, because I really resonate with what I actually see a very strong connection with what Eduardo, but mainly Gary and Anne have been saying. So it's about creating really new experiences. It's about also what Netflix is doing, like creating, giving to, let's say, the Western society, I would say the US people, more opportunities to see international movies, and also being exposed to different kind of storytelling, different kind of heroes that are not the typical Hollywood heroes. And we are an accelerator working with internationals. So I've seen a lot of internationals applying from every part of the world. A lot recently, I think Gary mentioned from Africa, probably because of the digitalization. We work with several AR companies that are designing, and startups that are designing a new kind of experiences in different sectors. Has been a trend that's not only recent. I mean, we are human. Our brain is wired to live experiences and stories, right? So it has been a trend since probably at least 10 years, that through the digitalization of products like Netflix, we're being experimenting and playing with new formats, with new content, with new format of content.
Mm-hmm.
So that opens up a lot of opportunities for us.
Absolutely. And Lumna, close us out in terms of opportunities before we hit this last round here.
Yeah, I think, the point about authenticity is very big with me. But I think immersive, I can't say, everybody's covered it, but I think immersive is going to play such an important role. Obviously, AI behind the scenes, and we just have to ensure that we have ethical application of AI, because it's a very powerful tool in terms of influencing. And we have an absolute opportunity at this point to do this cross-cultural. We get to learn about each other from each other. So in terms of entertainment, I think gaming and in-home entertainment, so that I think there'll be a lot of opportunity for investment for in-home media and entertainment. But I think immersive, whether it's for experiencing the product, because I don't think we're just online looking at pictures as you see it being placed in your own home, in your own space, being able to see something that someone else is at and be able to see what it might look like on you, that sort of thing. So I'm huge on immersive, backed by AI, and hopefully with a lot of authenticity and cross-cultural exposure for each other, so that we're a bit more aware of the field of effect of the things that we do and where they come from. I know we're almost running out of time, so
no, that was perfect. You know what? We're going to start with closing thoughts and where everyone can find you. So I'll let you go from here. So quick closing thought, and then where can everyone find you online, in case you have anything else to add?
Well, I hope they can find me here again and again. Otherwise, I'm Lubna Dajani at Gmail, Lubna at Alternet. I'm on LinkedIn, all at Lubna Dajani. And yeah, let's make it real.
Absolutely. And Gary, to you, any quick closing thought, and then where can everyone find you online?
Yeah, this is the opportunity in the life of a lifetime. And jump in, don't be afraid, go for it. Get shit done, as we say at the GSD. So you can reach me at LinkedIn. So it's Gary Fowler, LinkedIn. I'd love to hear from you. Gary at gsdvs.com. Just write me and let's talk.
Wonderful. Eduardo.
Yeah, everyone can reach me on LinkedIn. I'm pretty much available for a good chat and discussion on any topic that the audience would like to get more insights on. And basically, I mean, massive opportunities there. Actually, right now is the moment to invest. In this particular crisis, there's always opportunities to invest. And we believe that definitely next 5 to 6 months will be key in order to make a huge amount of money and to put tremendous and amazing projects into work, definitely.
And if you're looking for a player 2 to any games, hit up our Eduardo as well. He'd be happy to play. And,
absolutely.
And for you, closing thoughts, and where can everyone find you?
Sure. All right. So to dovetail with the gaming thing, most popular game right now, Animal Crossing: New Horizons. That's where we are right now. So if you want to create your own island and network there, I think that's just the greatest encapsulation of where we are right now. Where you can find me? Well, you can find me on my island, Isla Linda, or you can find me on Twitter at the 59THST Bridge. I'm there on Instagram as well. You can follow my company, BX3 Capital. That's at BX3_Capital. We're on LinkedIn. We're on Facebook. And I'm there as well, and Shustek Talbot. I'm the only Shustek out there, so.
Wonderful. First Animal Crossing call out. We had Telegram earlier this week. We now have Animal Crossing. Elena, we've made it. VCTV is here. We've got Animal Crossing call outs. This is amazing. Thank you, guys. Alessandro, to you. Quick closing thoughts. Where can everyone find you?
Yeah, closing. Just to close is that when I reiterate that we are selecting startups for early stage startups for the fall cohort. So if you have a company, an early stage company, you would like to work with our accelerator and with our investment fund, reach me out at alex@maccelerator.la or on LinkedIn.
Wonderful. Elfish, to you. Where can everyone find you, and any quick closing thoughts?
So as Kyle, I always talk about data and AI. And that's what we're working on. We have a venture to help companies get to data faster. So rather than having to build and deliver a data platform and a data fabric, as we call it, that's what we're helping to do. And we're working in multi verticals, including in media. You can find me on Twitter at alpeshdoshi. You can find me on LinkedIn at alpeshdoshi. My email address is alpesh@fintricity.com. And yeah, there you go.
Wonderful. Radhika, close us out. Any quick closing thoughts, and where can everyone find you?
Yeah, so the most popular game in my house is Fortnite, and my son is extremely disturbed because of their dispute with both Apple and Google due to this payment fee issues and all. So he's moping since last few days. I am available on LinkedIn all the time. I'm a BD professional, so I respond and check LinkedIn pretty often. The easiest way to find me is on LinkedIn.
Wonderful. Well, everyone, thank you so very much for joining us today and sharing your thoughts and insights on what's happening in these industries. There's so much more we can talk about, and we will. Each of you will be back, I know, and we'll be back here on VCTV to share more specifically into your areas of expertise. So thank you so much to your audience. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you like what you heard, click subscribe, give us a thumbs up. If you'd like to be on a show like today as an investor to share your thoughts and insights like those who did today, thank you, Lubna. Please, thank you, Alessandro. Thank you, Gary. Please do reach out to Elena, to LATOKEN, and or myself, and we would love to find the right opportunity for you. Entrepreneurs, again, this is a stage for you. Come join us, have the chance to pitch us your idea, and also to our live audience. Again, panelists, thank you so much all. It was such a great time to see each and every one of you and hear your thoughts and insights. We'll see you back here on VCTV, and also big thank you to Elena and to the entire LATOKEN team for always making VCTV possible every single day. I'm Kyle Lacotte, your host. I'll be back here next week for double episodes every single day as well on VCTV to talk about everything that's happening between technology, industries, and regions around the world to keep you up to date. With that, have a great day. You can find me online at Kyle Lacotte everywhere.